Hello and welcome back to this edition of Bayou Time. Again, your host, Keith Whiteside, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it. And listen, when October rolls around, we always want to think about what it is that we're doing for our community. What is it that we're doing to make a difference? We know the best way to make a difference is to get out and vote. Very glad to have with us Ms. Teresa Robichaux, who is the clerk of court here. Thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. So many things I know that are changing. There's a lot of polling changes, and it would be too difficult or complicated to kind of go through exactly what has changed. But let's just talk a little bit about those changes and how people can figure that out.
All right. Okay. So we have had a lot of polling changes due to reapportionment.
Right.
And so the precincts that you normally vote in may have changed.
Right.
Okay. So, and just to give you an idea of some numbers, Keith, 8,941 registered voters were affected for council district changes.
And so that's just the council district changes?
That's just the council, correct.
Wow.
13,900 voters had state rep change. So if you normally voted in state representative race 51, it may be 53 now or 52.
Right.
So you have to be careful.
Right.
And over 8,000 had a state senate district change. So some of the voters may get into the voting booth and realize that they're voting for two candidates that weren't in their race the last time they voted.
And or so maybe they don't recognize or know as well,
correct,
right?
Correct. So it's important, first of all, I think voters can avoid any confusion on Election Day by simply knowing what precinct you vote in.
Right.
So to make it really simple, and all of this is posted on our website at terrebonneclerk.org.
terrebonneclerk.org. Got it. Okay.
Correct. And you can go to our drop-down box.
Okay.
And select Elections Info. Go to that page, and that will give you the voter portal for the Secretary of State's website.
So it brings you directly to it?
Directly to it.
Wow.
You enter your name, your year, month, and year of birth.
Right.
And it will pull up the precinct you vote in and the location of that precinct.
And so for anybody that's worried about where to go with these polling changes, it's simply go to that website.
Correct.
And drop down to election.
Yes, just hit on the tab that says Elections Info.
Elections Info.
And it will give you all the information you need. And you can also use that same page on our website to obtain a sample ballot from the Secretary of State.
Right.
And so once you know your precinct number, then your sample ballot will have everything that pertains to you.
Everything gets connected to
Correct.
you personally
Correct.
on your name.
Yes.
And so that's a remarkable number of households that have changed.
Correct.
So not only for our councilmen, but for the House of Representatives and state rep.
Yes.
And so, and there's a lot of changes there. You know, we know that as they do the redistricting is what it's called.
Yes.
When they redistrict that, it affects a lot of people, but it's not something we think about or necessarily know about.
Correct, yes. And a lot of people don't know some of the basics, too, about Election Day.
Right.
The poll times are different than on a federal election. So Saturday, the polls will open at 7, close at 8. If you are in line by 8 o'clock, of course, you're allowed to vote.
Right.
Okay. You're now allowed 6 minutes in the voting booth. Used to be 3.
3, that's
It's
right.
changed
They
to 3.
doubled that, right?
I mean, to 6. And that was to accommodate people who were a little handicapped but didn't need assistance, just a little more time in the booth.
Right.
For those who may have come in from work and didn't have time to study a ballot, it gives them a little bit more time in the voting booth.
And so and y'all have extended those hours as well, right? So 7 to 8.
7 to
as
8.
long as you're in line by 8 o'clock, then you'll be able to do that. Now, let's talk about what we need on Election Day. We need more help, right?
We do need more help. Just to give you an idea, we have 76 precincts around the parish in Terrebonne.
Is that all?
Well, it's
76
because of the
precincts,
redistricting.
right?
But keep in mind, out of the 76, those are located in about 44 different schools, private businesses, and things like that, public buildings.
Right.
And so those 44 locations, we have 450 commissioners, give or take, in Terrebonne Parish.
10 plus or so, 10 or 11.
Yeah, about.
But some of the bigger ones have a few more people. Some of the small ones have a few less people.
Well, and for every precinct, because it's a big election, we have a commissioner in charge and 4 commissioners.
Oh, wow.
But we've been needing help with commissioners. We've had a lot for this election that cannot work. Some of it is because of illness.
Right.
Some of it, they're out of town.
Sure.
Unfortunately, if LSU is playing Alabama, that has a lot
We
to do.
don't have any commissioners.
And it really shouldn't be that way, but it is.
But, well, it's just some of the things that life
Sure,
affects.
right.
What we
and
do.
so for this election, we only have 2 commissioners to spare. That's it. We have
Oh, my.
2. And that was after the plea we put out to get additional. And we did pick up 30 more commissioners.
Okay.
So
But we want to do
are
that
in-
again. We want to do another plea for commissioners
we-
again,
yeah,
right here, right
here,
now.
right now, yes.
People
yes.
can hear. And what do they need to do? How can they be, for those people that are listening that want to become a commissioner and they want to serve their community by helping to become a commissioner, let's maybe talk about what
Okay.
they need to do and how they can go about doing that.
All right. So if you want to be a commissioner, first of all, you have to be a qualified voter.
Right.
In a resident of Terrebonne Parish.
Yeah. Registered voter and a qualified voter.
Right. And a qualified vote is one that is not a candidate on the ballot. You can't
Okay.
work as a commissioner if you're a candidate. You must be registered in your parish.
Okay.
And you must not have been convicted of an election offense. Okay.
Okay.
And you cannot be a law enforcement officer.
Right.
Okay. You also you have to be 18, of course, and a registered voter, but you can be 17 and a 12th grade student.
Okay.
So students who are not registered to vote, but you're 17 years of age or older, then you can work as a commissioner. The pay for a commissioner right now is $200 a day.
Oh, my.
$250 if you're a commissioner in charge.
Wow.
So, you
listen,
know,
that's helpful.
And it's great for a high school student
Yeah.
who wants to make a few bucks working
Sure.
one day out of the weekend. So,
Right.
so that's the qualifications. It's not difficult to become
No.
a commissioner. We do a school. My elections department does a school for the
Okay.
commissioners, and we train them.
Okay.
And so a lot of it, though, is on-the-job training, but you're always with other commissioners who are
Sure.
experienced and can help
Yeah.
you.
And that's the value of having those other commissioners.
Right.
Right.
Yes, and something else I want to mention, too, about Election Day. A lot of people aren't aware of this, but you cannot wear any political T-shirt, cap, any clothing that has any type of political agenda, candidate's name, slogans
Right.
that
Pins.
may represent. Yes, and so we run into that problem on Election Day, and our commissioners will ask them to please turn the shirt inside out or remove the cap or whatever. So
Right.
just some people, believe it or not, are still not aware of that. You can't wear those types of clothing.
Right.
to the
Because
precinct.
it's considered active campaigning.
Correct. Yes.
And
within 600 feet.
within 600 feet of a voting booth, and we can't do
Yes,
that.
yes.
So we've got about 30 seconds left. Anything you want to wrap up with? I know Facebook is one of those places. If people have more information,
Yes,
they can go to
my
that as
page
well.
on Facebook, and I have
Right.
posted 4 or 5 entries on there that give you some general information. Please find out your precinct number before you go to the polls.
Right.
We
And-
have people there to help, but to help keep things moving, it would be very beneficial if you already knew your precinct.
And let's give out that website one more time.
TerrebonneClerk.org.
TerrebonneClerk.org. It's very simple.
Yes.
Because, Teresa is our clerk of court here. But you go to
I know the
TerrebonneClerk.org and you can go to elections info and get all the information. Plug in where you are. You can see those changes and be knowledgeable and somebody who goes out and makes a difference and makes it a little bit easier.
Yes.
All right, very good. Teresa, thank you for coming to
Thank
share all
you.
this
I
information
appreciate
with
it.
us. I know the public appreciates it, and we're thankful for all those commissioners doing that work on
Thank
Election
you.
Day. All right, that'll do it for this particular segment of Bayou Time. Don't go anywhere. A whole lot more right here on HTV.